Hello, and welcome to another edition of From the Bars to the Bricks Prison Ministries. I'm your favorite felon, Kev. How you doing today? Today, we are going to talk a little bit about how to deal with loss in prison. Loss of a loved one, specifically. First, let me tell you, I've done a little over 20 years in prison, not all at once, in and out, inside the Kansas system. I don't recommend it for anybody, but I finally learned to turn my life around, and well, here I am. Please like and subscribe. That's important. I always forget that, but please like and subscribe. I love the views. Thank you, everybody, for viewing and watching. Thanks for the comments. Please like and subscribe. And let's get YouTube to know that, the algorithms know that, hey, this content's relevant and it's reaching somebody. People need to hear it. Let's get our stuff boosted up on the algorithms there. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into today's topic. Today we're going to talk about loss of a loved one in prison. That's a very loss of a loved one, as many of you know who've watched. We recently lost a mother a week ago, so kind of hits home. And then the other day, we found out that a friend of ours that's incarcerated has lost his father. Me and my little brother Eric, who runs From Prison to the Streets, Eric Swanson. Check that channel out. It's an awesome channel. Has a lot of good content. We know how it is to lose a parent in prison. We both lost our fathers when we were locked up. When you're incarcerated, me and Eric had the fortunate, I guess, of being able to be told in person. But many times, death don't have a time toll, and it don't happen right near a visitation day. Sometimes it does. But even at that, you're in a visitation room, or even like a room off the side, and you don't really have time to grieve, really time to soak it in. At the time, both myself and Eric, our father, we lived in a dorm with 116 guys. So, thankfully we were well established in the system too, and that has a lot to do with the comfort level of your grief. You established enough to shed a little tear without getting some stuff about it, that makes a big difference. I can't imagine. I was established in the system, as was Eric. We had a huge support from some friends, and it was kind of not close in our call-outs, but those you don't know, call-out in prison is any type of religious organization, a religious function, a church, a Bible study, anything you go outside of your cell house or dorm or whatever to attend, whether it be a clinic appointment or whatever. It's considered a call out, a class, a program. It's a call out. But anyway, so we had a lot of support there, but again, we were established. We'd been there a while. I'd been in the system a long time, unfortunately. And it's hard to deal with. Those of you that are friends and family of loved ones, please comment. Let's get together, get in touch. I don't care if you're in Kansas. I don't care if you're in the United States. I am trying to build a network of people with incarcerated loved ones where we can build a support group. Because I know it's hard on the outside as well. when there's a loss of a loved one, it almost feels like you've lost another person on the outside, because that person's incarcerated, and it's like they're already lost. And then a family loss like that, you really miss that person's presence. In his case, he has children, so they miss his presence. So, you know, it makes it really, really difficult. You have limited, you can't go to the funeral. You can't, there's no special visits when family come in town for a funeral or whatever. There's no, and if they're not on your visiting list, they're not coming to see you. It's just how it is. It's just the way it is. It's at least not in Kansas. There is a policy provision for an emergency visit. Someone that's over, I don't remember what the mileage is. It's like 150 miles or whatever, but it's not happening. They're not doing on the spot. You know, this particular person, in fact, the Kansas Department of Corrections dragged their heels. It took his wife over 3 months, people, 3 months to get approved to visit her husband in prison. 3 months. Ridiculous. But anyway, when you lose somebody in prison, you're so alone. You're isolated. You get to talk to your family for moments on the phone. You know, when day room, when you can get to a phone. And at that, if there's a line for the phone, a lot of busy people, you can't take the whole day room time up without pretty much making yourself, weak. I know when I lost my dad, I'm kind of a softie sometimes anyway, but, it was really hard for me not to break down every time I talked. So I didn't like to explain to a lot of people why I needed to use the phone all evening. However, there was a few people that knew me well enough that let people know, hey, let him hog the phone. It don't matter. And, but you don't have that finality of the funeral. I was able to attend my half-brother's funeral, but past that, they stopped doing funerals. And, they said it's short of staff, but my grandma passed away. Or they said it was funding. That's what it was. Couldn't afford it. Couldn't afford to pay the staff for a funeral and stuff. My grandmother passed away. My father called. The facility offered to pay for everything and all that. Nope. Nothing happening. They would not do it. They had every excuse in the book. And so, for whatever reason, anyway, you can't attend the funeral or services of any kind. I was able to get a DVD probably 6 weeks after the funeral. It finally made it through EAI had to watch it, and this person had to watch it, and that person had to watch it, and the chaplain had to watch it, and this, and after it finally made through the 10,000 channels of command, I was finally allowed time to view it. I don't remember how long the service was. I remember I was able to go back. At that time in El Dorado, the Spiritual Life Center wasn't open. The chaplaincy was back in the programs area, and they put me back in a room in the programs area and by myself with the TV and DVD player and the DVD, and I was able to watch it. It was rough, but I think that I had some support of some really good friends. My little brother was in there. Eric has always had my back, always, and I'm going through something, I can always depend on Eric, and that's what we did when we lost our father. We kind of relied on each other and helped each other kind of get through it. And it's difficult. It's like it's one of the worst feelings in the world. you're already incarcerated. You're away from your family, your friends, your loved ones. Things are happening. The world's still going on, and you have a lot of times no to limited knowledge. So, it. And then when you do have knowledge, if it's one of your kids or parents or grandparents or something, and they're sick or there's something going on, that normally if you were out in the free world, you could be there for them, you can help them or whatever. Like I said, even if it's just being there for them or for the rest of the family. But incarcerated, you can't do that. That makes you feel even worse. You know, whatever a person's crime, whatever a person did, people watching this, a person is a person. It's a human being. It's a child of God. Who are we to continue to condemn a person? If the Mona Lisa got damaged today, we would spend just countless amounts of money to repair this painting. Why don't we value human life like that? Why, when someone passes away and a family member that someone's incarcerated, why is there not more compassion? You're allowed usually like a 20 to 30-minute phone call with your loved one after the chaplain tells you that your dad just died. Here, you can call whoever you got 20 minutes. And some chaplains literally set a timer. Ding, hang up. And if you don't hang up, they're hanging you up. They don't care what the moment is. They're very incompassionate. And I'm not saying all of them, because you have some chaplaincy members, you have some officers, you have some staff members that are very, very sympathetic, empathetic, and very helpful through a lot of them situations. That was the other thing. Me and Eric, we were electricians. So, and not only that, we did our job well. We was able to go lead a project without any staff help. A lot of times with the Spiritual Life Center, I would go over the blueprints, and I would assign what to do, including my boss. So we were pretty much, they could rely on us to get the job done right, get the job done in a decent amount of time without no stuff going on. And we were useful across many crews. We have a lot of skills, and what we didn't know, we were willing to learn, and that's what a lot of bosses appreciated. We had the desire to work and the willingness to learn. So we wanted to learn something new, learn how to do it right. So we had a lot of support from the maintenance department. I was president of the JCs. Actually, at that time I was vice president, but still I knew some of the administration and the activities department, some of the mental health department. Man, I had a lot of support. It was amazing looking back. I didn't really notice it all at the time. That time was honestly kind of a blur. It was a very bad time for me. I don't know that I ever properly grieved. I don't know if I ever have properly grieved for my father's passing. Because I know every time, his birthday would have been November 20th. He was born November 20th of 1944. So his birthday would have been about a month ago. This year, for some reason, it was harder than it has ever been. So maybe I haven't processed that grief. Maybe I need to look back at myself. That, folks, is a result of being incarcerated when someone's lost. If you properly grieve, I don't care how, I guess it depends on your grieving process, but if you have a normal grieving process, you break down and cry, chances are you might end up having to fight somebody before the night's over, or there's going to be serious consequences. And being established and stuff like that, known, people don't say a whole lot, but I mean, you still don't. There's that prison mentality, that macho-ness, that I can't be shown weak. So we guard ourselves so much. And because I tell people all the time, Kansas prisons, I mean, some of that stuff you see on TV in the movies, you might find that in some of them prisons. And I'm not saying Kansas prisons aren't dangerous, because Lansing is very dangerous. El Dorado is very dangerous. Hutch is very dangerous. There was a guy killed when I was in Winfield. That's a minimum camp at Winfield. Just got off the bus. But anyway, but it just, yeah. I mean, Kansas prisons aren't as bad as some of the other prisons. There is a level of respect for a lot of people that you don't have in a lot of the other prisons. But anyway, this video is getting long enough. Like I said, that's losing a loved one is hard no matter where you're at. But when you're incarcerated, it's extra hard. So those of you that are watching that are believers, I ask you, please lift the people that are incarcerated up in prayer, that they've lost a loved one, that they have the strength to get through it. Just for the incarcerated individual themselves and their families, it's a very, very rough time, and some people get a lot more time than what their crime deserves. And there is some of the opposites too. Don't get me wrong. I've seen several people that I'm just like, are you serious? I got 21 years and you got a year? I don't know. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. I know today was kind of a grave subject, a little downer, but it's one that's necessary, the one that people need to understand. My little brother, I was talking about his channel, Eric Swanson, From Prison to the Streets. He did a video on the loss of his father. Go to his channel. I believe it was called The Worst Day in Prison. Excuse me. I keep seeming to have a little cough here. There we go. We'll get it out. But check it out. He talks about loss of his father and in prison and the difficulty. It's not an easy task. But anyway, thank you guys. You all are awesome. Like and subscribe. Share. Hit me up on all my platforms. I'm on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, TikTok, Facebook, website. All my links are in the About section. If you want to donate to the ministries, be a part of our team, be a part of the Dad Up movement, go ahead and on the links to the top of my banner here on the YouTube page, there is links to PayPal. There's also a link to my store. You can buy the official Dad Up merchandise. There's other merchandise stuff on there as well. Go and get some merchandise. 100% of the proceeds of all my merchandise sold from when a couple weeks ago all the way till the end of May is going into a scholarship fund. It will go to a deserving child of someone that is incarcerated. It's going to help pave their way so they don't become a statistic. That's a whole nother video. It's alarming. Have a good day. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Kev, and I'm out.